Students, Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all. It is class 12th, subject economics, and our today's topic is problems of excess and deficit demand. We will discuss first the problems of excess with reasons and impact. Excess demand refers to the situation when aggregate demand is more than the aggregate supply, corresponding to full employment level of output in the economy. While this aggregate demand is greater than aggregate supply corresponding to full employment. It implies that it can be explained through this figure that we take on x-axis the income and on y-axis the aggregate demand. These are the two curves. This is aggregate demand curve showing the full employment, and this curve is of aggregate demand shows over full employment, and this is the curve which can be drawn on 45-degree angle, shows the aggregate supply, and this point E is the equilibrium point, and this point E1 is over full employment situation. And you know that this difference of this E and G point is the difference called excess demand. Now the reasons, what are the reasons behind the problems of excess of demand? They are that AD, aggregate demand, is equal to consumption plus investment plus government expenditure plus X minus M. And number one is rise in consumption expenditure. Number two is rise in investment. And rise in investment, when aggregate demand rises, it rises with the result the rise in investment. And number three is rise in government expenditure. Government expenditure, this expenditure is all for the people's welfare, new opening of schools, or to be constructed new health centers, etc. Number four is rise in exports. Or number five is fall in imports. And number six is fall in taxes. When government reduce taxes, income rises. Number seven is deficit financing, means that printing of new money is needed there when due to deficit financing printing it is necessary that printing of new money. Now we come to the point of impact of excess demand. Excess demand can summarize it with these 3 points. Number one is effect on output due to excess demand, not rise in output, effects on output. Number two is effect on employment. no change in employment level. And number 3 is rise in general price level. Rise in general price level as aggregate supply is minimum and aggregate demand is maximized. For the difference between the deficit demand and excess demand, we'll discuss about this very topic in my next lecture. Till then, to be safe. Thank you very much.